Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. They gave us scrap. Humans made it the most dangerous ship in the Nova Galaxy. Captain Jack Reed tugged at the collar of his uniform. The air in the Grand Hall of the Galactic Alliance was too warm for humans. He wondered if the aliens had done this on purpose. Probably. The Alliance had made no secret of their feelings about Earth and its people. "Please step forward, Earth representative," called the council speaker. Jack moved to the center of the circular platform. Hundreds of alien eyes stared down at him from the tiered seating that rose up like a giant bowl. He felt like a bug under a microscope. The council speaker was tall and thin, with skin that glowed slightly when she moved. It looked like water rippling in the light. Beautiful but cold. "Earth has asked to join the Galactic Alliance," she said. Her voice echoed through the large hall. "We have reviewed your application." Jack kept his face blank. Earth had not just asked, Earth had begged. After the great disaster that nearly ended human civilization, they needed help. The Alliance had technology that could clean Earth's air and water. They had medicines that could cure the sicknesses that had spread after the disaster. After much discussion, the speaker continued, "We have decided to grant Earth provisional membership." A murmur ran through the hall. Jack caught the looks that passed between council members, some smug, others disgusted. Provisional membership was the lowest possible status. It meant Earth would get the bare minimum of help and would have no voting rights. "Thank you," Jack said, the words tasting bitter in his mouth. "Earth is grateful for your generosity." The speaker's mouth twitched in what might have been a smile. "As a gesture of goodwill, the Alliance grants the human contingent one vessel for space travel." A large screen appeared in the air. On it was a picture of what looked like space trash. It was a ship, or it had been once. Now it was a broken shell with parts missing and holes in its hull. "The GSV 4291, the speaker said, a cargo vessel scheduled for recycling." Jack heard laughter from several council members. He clenched his fists at his sides. "This vessel will allow Earth to begin trade, which is essential for any new member." Jack knew what she didn't say: without trade, Earth couldn't pay the Alliance fees. Without paying fees, Earth would lose even its provisional status. And Earth had nothing valuable to trade. "Not yet. We accept your generous offer," Jack said, keeping his voice steady. "The vessel will be delivered to Earth's orbit within one cycle," the speaker said. "This council meeting is now closed." The aliens filed out, many not even looking at Jack. He stood alone on the platform for a long moment, staring at the image of the broken ship. A hand fell on his shoulder. That could have gone worse. Jack turned to see Admiral Wilson, Earth's military advisor. Her weathered face showed concern. "Really? How?" Jack asked. "They could have said no." Jack sighed. "That ship is an insult, Admiral." "Yes, it is," Wilson agreed. "But it's also a ship. One we desperately need." Jack looked again at the image. The GSV 4291 was huge, larger than anything Earth had built before the disaster. Its hull was a patchwork of different metals. Systems hung exposed like the guts of a broken toy. "What are we supposed to do with that?" he asked. Wilson smiled. It was a hard smile, one that reminded Jack why she had risen to command Earth's remaining naval forces. "We're going to surprise them," she said. "That's what humans do best." They walked together out of the Grand Hall into the vast docking bay. The Alliance Central Station was busy with ships coming and going. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved around them, most ignoring the humans completely. "I want you to command this mission, Jack," Wilson said. Jack stopped walking. "Me? I'm not qualified." "You're exactly qualified," Wilson cut him off. "You were a salvage captain before the disaster. You know how to fix broken things. There's a difference between fixing a fishing boat and making that piece of junk spaceworthy. Is there? Wilson asked. I don't think so. It's all just parts that need to work together. They reached a viewport that looked out into space. The stars were different here, thousands of light years from Earth. They think we're primitive, Wilson said softly. They think we're weak because of what happened to our planet. They gave us that ship as a joke, expecting us to fail. They're probably right, Jack said. Wilson turned to him, her eyes hard. No, they're wrong. They don't understand humans at all. When have we ever given up? When have we ever stopped trying to survive? Jack thought about Earth's history, all the disasters, wars, and hardships. Humans had always found a way forward. They gave us scraps, Wilson continued, but that's all we've ever needed. We take what others throw away, and we make it work. We always have. Jack looked again at the image of the ship on his data pad. He began to see possibilities where before he had only seen junk. I'll need a crew, he said finally. Wilson smiled. I thought you might say that. I've already started making a list. The best engineers and technicians we have left. It won't be easy, Jack warned. Even if we get it flying, the Alliance has given us no weapons, no real defenses. I know. That's why I picked you, Jack. You've never played by the rules. Jack thought about his past, about the times he had bent regulations to get a job done. In the salvage business, sometimes you had to get creative. So what exactly are our orders, Admiral? He asked. Make that ship fly, Wilson said. Make it better than anything the Alliance has ever seen. And then show them exactly what humans can do. Jack nodded slowly. And when they realize what we've done? Wilson's smile grew wider. By then, it will be too late. They'll have to respect us. As they walked back to their temporary quarters, Jack thought about the broken ship waiting for them. The Alliance had meant it as an insult, a way to watch humans fail. They had no idea what they had just started. GSV 4291, Jack said to himself. We'll need to give you a new name. He thought about human history, about the myths and legends that had inspired people for thousands of years. Prometheus, he decided. The one who stole fire from the gods and gave it to humans. It felt right. The Alliance thought they were gods looking down on primitive humans. They were about to learn a hard lesson. Jack Reed, former salvage captain, now commander of humanity's first real starship, smiled for the first time since arriving at the Alliance station. They gave us scrap, he said to the stars. We'll make it the most dangerous ship in the Nova Galaxy. The GSV 4291 hung in Earth's orbit like a giant broken toy. Jack Reed looked at it through the shuttle window as they approached. It was even worse up close than in the pictures. Large sections of the hull were missing. Wires and pipes stuck out like the insides of a gutted fish. Home sweet home, he muttered. Beside him, Chief Engineer Liz Murphy pressed her face to the glass. Unlike Jack, she was smiling. It's perfect, she said. Jack turned to look at her. Perfect. It's a wreck. Liz shook her head, her short red hair caught the light from Earth below. No, it's a blank canvas. We can make it whatever we want. The shuttle docked with the old ship. Jack, Liz, and the first team of engineers floated through the airlock. Inside, the ship was dark and cold. Their flashlights cut through the darkness, showing empty corridors and rooms stripped of everything useful. They really cleaned it out, Jack said. Liz was already scanning the walls with a small device. Basic structure is sound. That's what matters. Over the next few days, more shuttles arrived with equipment and crew. The ship began to come alive. Lights flickered on, heat returned to the rooms. People moved in and started to work. Jack set up a command center in what had once been the ship's bridge. Most of the control panels were gone, leaving only empty spaces and cut wires. "We can't afford to replace everything," he told his team. "We need to be smart about this." Liz nodded. "We don't need fancy Alliance tech. We can use what we already have on Earth." "But Earth tech is primitive compared to the Alliance," said Tom Hayes, the communications officer. "That's our advantage," Liz replied. "They won't expect it. They won't understand it." Jack looked at the plan spread out before them. The Alliance had rules about what weapons a provisional member could have, which was basically none. But they hadn't said anything about other systems. "What if we take these old mining lasers from the lunar base?" Jack pointed to an inventory list. Liz's eyes lit up. "Those aren't weapons. They're tools. But if we boost the power, they could cut through a ship's hull," Jack finished. Tom looked nervous. "The Alliance won't like that." "The Alliance gave us junk," Jack said firmly. "They don't get to complain about what we do with it." Days turned into weeks. The ship slowly transformed. Outside, it still looked like scrap. Jack had ordered the crew to keep the outer hull patchy and worn. But inside, things were changing. Liz and her team worked day and night. They took Earth technology and combined it with the remaining Alliance systems in ways no one had tried before. "The Alliance builds everything to be perfect," Liz explained one day as she showed Jack her latest creation. "They don't understand how to work with flaws." She had taken the ship's damaged power core and, instead of replacing it, had built a new system around it. "It's not as efficient as theirs," she admitted. "But it can do things their systems can't. Like this." She pressed a button. The power core hummed and then released a pulse of energy that made the lights flicker. "What was that?" Jack asked. "Electromagnetic pulse," Liz grinned. "Non-lethal, but it can shut down other ship systems temporarily. Completely legal by Alliance standards because it's not classified as a weapon." Jack smiled. Impressive. All around the ship, similar changes were happening. The crew converted an old tractor beam into what they called a gravity net that could trap other ships. They rebuilt the engines using a combination of Alliance parts and human ingenuity. 6 months after they began, the ship was ready for its first test. The crew gathered on the bridge, which now looked nothing like an Alliance vessel. It was filled with screens and controls that were a mix of human and alien technology. "All systems are green," Liz reported. Jack sat in the captain's chair. It wasn't fancy, just a modified seat from an old Earth fighter jet, but it was comfortable. "Prepare for engine start," he ordered. The ship hummed to life around them. On the outside, it still looked like scrap, but inside it was now one of the most unusual vessels in the galaxy. "Engines at full power," Liz said. "She's ready, Captain." Jack took a deep breath. This was the moment of truth. Either all their hard work would pay off, or they would be stranded in orbit. "Take us out, Mr. Hayes," he said. "Let's see what she can do." The engines roared. The ship moved slowly at first, then with growing speed. The crew cheered as Earth grew smaller behind them. "She flies," someone shouted. Jack smiled. "Yes, she does. But we still have work to do." Over the next month, they tested every system. The ship performed better than anyone had expected. It was fast, agile, and full of surprises. Admiral Wilson visited before their first official mission. She walked through the ship, nodding with approval at what she saw. "The Alliance has requested a report on your progress," she told Jack. "What should I tell them?" Jack thought for a moment. "Tell them the repairs are ongoing. Tell them we're doing our best with what they gave us." Wilson smiled. "And what about the new name? Should I mention that?" Jack looked around the bridge. The name, Prometheus, was now painted on the wall. No, he decided. Let that be our surprise. The day finally came for their first real mission. The Alliance had assigned them a simple task: deliver supplies to an outpost on the edge of the system. It was the kind of job they gave to ships they didn't trust with anything important. As the crew prepared to leave, Jack called them together. The Alliance thinks this ship is barely holding together, he said. They think we're just primitive humans trying to play in their galaxy. They're wrong. He looked around at the faces of his crew, the best engineers, pilots, and thinkers Earth had to offer. They gave us scrap, he continued. We've made it something more. This is our chance to show the galaxy what humans can do. The crew cheered. Take us out, Mr. Hayes, Jack ordered. The Prometheus is ready to fly. As the ship left Earth behind, Jack watched the stars grow brighter. The Alliance had meant to humiliate humans with this broken ship. Instead, they had given them exactly what they needed, a chance to prove themselves. The Prometheus might look like junk on the outside, but inside it was becoming the most dangerous ship in the Nova Galaxy. And soon, everyone would know it. 3 months had passed since the Prometheus began its official duties. Captain Jack Reed sat in his command chair, reviewing the ship's performance reports. The Alliance had given them simple missions: carrying supplies, checking navigation beacons, basic patrols, nothing that mattered. They're still testing us, Jack told his officers during their daily meeting. Waiting for us to fail, Liz Murphy said with a smile. The chief engineer had dark circles under her eyes from working late, but she looked proud. The ship is performing better than expected. Tom Hayes, the communications officer, raised his hand. Captain, I've been monitoring Alliance channels. There's talk about us. What kind of talk? Jack asked. They're surprised we got this ship working at all. Some think we must have had help. Tom grinned. They can't believe humans did this alone. Jack nodded. It was exactly what he hoped for. The Alliance still underestimated them. Good. The meeting was interrupted by an urgent beep from Tom's console. Captain, we're picking up a distress signal, Tom reported, pressing his earpiece tighter. It's a merchant vessel. They're under attack. Jack was instantly alert. Location: the Outer Rim, Sector 47. It's the Scourge, sir. The room went quiet. Everyone had heard of the Scourge, pirates who attack ships throughout the galaxy. The Alliance had been trying to stop them for years without success. How far? Jack asked. We could be there in 20 minutes at top speed, Liz replied. Jack thought quickly. Alliance rules were clear: provisional members were not supposed to engage in combat. They were supposed to call for help and stay away. Tom, are there any Alliance patrol ships nearby? Tom checked his instruments. Nearest patrol is 7 hours away. The merchant ship won't last that long. Jack made his decision. Plot a course to intercept. Battle stations. The crew moved quickly to their positions. As provisional members, they weren't supposed to have battle stations at all, but Jack had prepared his crew for this moment. Sir, Tom said quietly, the Alliance will not be happy if we engage the Scourge. I'm not planning to let people die because of politics, Jack replied. Besides, we're just going to look. Maybe we can scare the pirates away. But they all knew that was unlikely. The Scourge didn't scare easily. The Prometheus jumped to top speed. Inside, the ship hummed with energy as systems that had never been tested in real combat came online. Preparing defense systems, Liz reported from engineering. All our non-weapons are ready. Jack smiled at her choice of words. They had been very careful to build systems that technically weren't weapons according to Alliance rules. Time to intercept, he asked. 15 minutes, Tom replied. Jack opened the shipwide communication channel. Attention all crew. We are responding to a distress call. This is not a drill. We may face combat against the Scourge. Remember your training. Remember why we're here. 15 minutes later, the Prometheus dropped out of faster-than-light travel directly between the pirates and their prey. The view screen showed 3 sleek, dangerous-looking ships attacking a bulky cargo vessel. The cargo ship was already damaged, venting air from several holes in its hull. "They're hailing us," Tom reported, surprise in his voice. "The lead pirate ship." "Put them through," Jack ordered. The screen changed to show an alien with gray skin and sharp teeth. His eyes narrowed when he saw Jack. "A human ship," the pirate captain said with a laugh. "The Alliance sends humans to fight us now. Leave immediately or be destroyed. This is not your concern." "We're responding to a distress call," Jack replied calmly. "Stop your attack and withdraw." The pirate laughed again. "Your ship is garbage. You have no weapons. Leave now, and we might let you live." Jack cut the transmission and turned to his crew. "They've made their choice. Spring the trap." Liz grinned and began entering commands into her console. The Prometheus suddenly started drifting, as if its engines had failed. Emergency lights flickered. The ship vented gas that looked like atmosphere escaping. "They're taking the bait," Tom reported, watching the pirate ships change course. "All 3 are moving to attack us." "Let them get closer," Jack ordered. The pirate ships circled like hungry sharks, moving in for the kill. They clearly thought the Prometheus was helpless. "Now!" Jack commanded when the first ship was almost on top of them. Liz pressed a button. The ship's improvised electromagnetic pulse fired, invisible but powerful. The nearest pirate ship suddenly went dark, its systems overloaded. "First ship disabled," Liz reported with a smile. The second pirate ship turned to fire on them, but the Prometheus was already moving, faster than should have been possible for a ship its size. The modified mining lasers, technically not weapons, fired with precision, slicing through the second ship's engines. "Second ship crippled," Liz announced. The third pirate vessel began to turn away, trying to escape, but the Prometheus fired its gravity net, another non-weapon adapted from cargo handling equipment. The energy field wrapped around the pirate ship, stopping it in space. "Third ship caught," Tom said, his voice filled with wonder. "Captain, we did it. We stopped the Scourge." The crew cheered. In less than 5 minutes, they had defeated pirates that the Alliance had been chasing for years. "Damage report?" Jack asked. "None, sir," Liz replied proudly. "Our systems performed perfectly." Jack nodded. "Open a channel to the merchant ship." The screen showed an alien captain looking shocked. You saved us. How did you do that?" "Your ship looks like scrap." "Appearances can be deceiving," Jack replied with a smile. "Are you able to make repairs?" "Yes, the damage is not too severe. But the Scourge, no one has ever captured them before." "There's a first time for everything," Jack said. "Tom, broadcast on Alliance frequencies." Tom opened the channel. Jack straightened in his chair. "This is Captain Jack Reed of the Earth vessel Prometheus. We have neutralized 2 Scourge vessels and captured a third. Request Alliance security for prisoner transfer. We are standing by with the damaged merchant vessel Telewind in Sector 47. After he finished, there was silence on the bridge. "You know the Alliance is going to be angry," Tom said quietly. Jack nodded. "Probably. But what can they say? That we shouldn't have saved lives? That we should have let the Scourge continue to attack ships? They'll say we violated the terms of our membership," Liz pointed out. "That we have weapons when we shouldn't." "We don't have weapons," Jack replied with a smile. "We have mining equipment, tractor beams, and emergency systems. If they happen to work well against pirates, that's just good engineering. The crew laughed. They all knew what they had done today would change everything. No one would look at the Prometheus as junk anymore. "Sir," Tom called out, "I'm receiving a transmission from Alliance Command. They want to speak with you immediately." Jack smoothed down his uniform. "Put them through. It's time to show the Alliance what humans can really do." As the screen changed to show the angry face of an Alliance official, Jack allowed himself a small smile. The game had changed. The humans had arrived on the Galactic stage, and they had arrived with a bang. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Alliance was packed. News of the Prometheus and its victory over the Scourge had spread quickly. Everyone wanted to see the humans who had done the impossible with a ship made of scrap. Jack Reed stood tall in the center of the room. This time, he wasn't nervous. This time, he knew exactly what he had accomplished. "Captain Reed," the council speaker said, her voice colder than before, "you have violated the terms of Earth's provisional membership." Jack kept his face calm. "How so, Speaker?" "Your ship engaged in combat operations. Provisional members are not permitted to have armed vessels." "The Prometheus is not armed," Jack replied. "We have no weapons." Angry murmurs filled the hall. The speaker's skin rippled with what Jack now recognized as emotion. "You disabled 3 Scourge vessels," she said. "Vessels that have evaded our patrols for years. We used modified mining equipment and emergency systems," Jack explained. "Nothing we have violates the letter of Alliance law." A council member stood up. He was from a species Jack didn't recognize, short and wide with multiple eyes. "You expect us to believe that you defeated the Scourge with mining equipment?" he asked. "I don't expect you to believe anything," Jack replied. "I'm simply telling you the truth. We took what you gave us, a ship meant for the scrap heap, and we made it work. We've broken no rules." The hall erupted in voices, some seemed angry, others surprised. Jack waited for them to quiet down. Admiral Wilson stepped forward to stand beside Jack. In the months since the Prometheus had begun its mission, she had become Earth's official representative to the Alliance. "May I speak?" she asked the speaker. The speaker nodded, though she didn't look happy about it. "The Prometheus responded to a distress call," Wilson said. "A merchant vessel was under attack. The nearest Alliance patrol was hours away. Should Captain Reed have let those people die simply to follow protocol?" Silence fell over the hall. Furthermore, Wilson continued, "In the 3 months since that incident, the Prometheus has responded to 17 more emergencies, intercepted 12 smuggling operations, and provided intelligence that led to dismantling 3 major criminal networks." She looked around the hall, meeting the gaze of the council members one by one. "The humans have proven their worth.